Welcome everyone to our webinar on iCall Suite and how it can provide you via data analytics the insights you need to drive business success. Today, myself and John will be presenting to you the iCall Suite and what it can bring to your business and partners. So I'm the head of channel here at Access4 and John is the head of solutions at Access4. I lead the team of growth managers that most of our partners will interact with, and John leads all the pre-sales solution consultants who assist with pretty much everything technical. Right, so before we begin, just pop any questions you have during the session into the Q&A area, and we'll come to those at the end. There might be some questions that we take offline, but we'll come back to the group if we do that. So, what are we discussing today? Basically, in a nutshell, we're going to look at capability, actionable insights, some use cases, and how to pitch this as a solution to your customers. More specifically, why we added the iCall Suite to our product portfolio, how iCall Suite can enhance the customer experience while driving business efficiencies, and identifying how to identify an opportunity for you and your customers. Now, why? Good question. Why will? So I guess one of the reasons is, we wanted to make sure that we have a capability inside our product set which enable data analytics to be used to help businesses become successful and tackling their business's challenges. So John, I'll throw that over to you though. But why did we introduce iCall Suite to our product portfolio?
Well, Aaron, a lot of the old reporting systems were about reporting how much was spent on calling out, and not much focus was put on what was calling in and how much time clients were spending on the phone. Many companies around the world looked at how their staff were supposedly failing to do their job, when in reality the company had failed to provide them with the correct capability, whether that be staff or systems, to handle the calls that were coming in. The customer experience suffered because the capabilities weren't provided. And this was because reporting was structured around the wrong items, such as cost of outgoing calls and very basic call analytics. They were never created to understand the customer experience. The world has changed, and customer experience is the key to success in all businesses. If you win the customer through your customer experience, they will return and spend more next time. So to allow this with our solution, we have added iCall Suite to our product set to assist businesses in understanding their customer experience.
Thanks, John. There are some interesting stats to back up what John has just outlined. I won't read them all, but just to quickly run through them. So, 84% of customers work to improve their customer experience, had an increase in revenue. If you deliver a superior experience, then you get multiples on your revenue experience, and those who don't get a lag. This one I thought was quite interesting here, where 32% of customers break up with their favourite brand after one poor experience. So having that data insight into your business and understanding where the call journey and abandoning calls or calls that aren't being missed and returned, those things can lead to a bad experience, and just one can lead to your customer losing or yourselves losing a valuable partner or customer. And lastly, you can double your revenue in 36 months if you improve your customer experience to a satisfactory level. So a lot of stats there, and there's a lot of different information, and it looks at superior service versus improving service. But everyone can look to win out of this by understanding their business more through analytics. John, break it down for me. What's available in the iCall Suite solution set?
So we've got three sets of items that are available in the iCall Suite. So to start off, we've got the visual dashboards, wallboards, and customizable reporting. So the visual dashboards allow for not an up-to-minute sort of report, but they give you a sort of day or couple of days report where you're able to look at that data, potentially do some sort of behind-the-time rectifications on what's going on within the business. But then you've also got wallboards, which are more of an up-to-the-minute type scenario where they're updating all the time. You've got much closer thresholds to being able to look at things. But you don't want to always have wallboards as dashboards because they're very sort of succinct in the way that you utilise the data for them. And then, of course, you've got customizable reporting. You know, everyone wants reporting, wants the ability to be able to grab all the information that they can from the system and format it the way that they'd like, say on a monthly, weekly, daily type of report scenario. Then you go into the supervisor analytics. So the supervisor, you know, needs to be able, and this is for contact centers specifically, the supervisor needs to be able to understand what's going on in the contact center queues. So they might look after multiple queues. They need to understand how many calls are coming in, the amount of time it's taking for them to get answered, whether an agent isn't ready or not ready, and, you know, understanding whether they're on break or any of those sort of things, and how many calls they may have answered during the day and how many they may have missed and have actually bounced to someone else. And then, of course, you've got the supervisor and agent consoles, which allow the supervisor, one, to be able to do the analytics and agent management, but also for the supervisor to be able to monitor real-time what's going on in the contact center queue. The agent console, of course, is for the agent to be able to answer phone calls and be able to do all the things that an agent needs to do. And they can also monitor how many calls are in the queue, how many they've handled, how many they've potentially missed, how long they've actually been on the phone during the day.
Right, John, thank you for that. So another thing you sort of touched on there is, you know, the reporting. So I know that there's a whole raft of different types of reports that are available. Can you take us through some of those options and just sort of outline, I guess, where they'd be used?
Yes, so iCall Suite comes with a raft of reports. So there's a massive and extensive report catalogue, just as generic reports, which are fantastic to be able to delve into the point of just being able to get an extension level point of view. So looking at one user and their extension and how many calls they've made or how many calls they've answered, or what a particular phone number that's called in or anything like that, up into contact center queues where you're looking at all of the really relevant data for contact center queues, such as handle time, how many calls have come in, how many calls have been missed, that sort of thing. And then you have the basic summary wallboard. So that basic summary wallboard, excuse me, allows you to be able to see the data, like total calls in, total calls out, total calls missed. It's very basic, but it gives a very good overview of what's going on within either that particular section of the business or the business as a whole on a day-to-day, on a minute-to-minute point of view. And then you've got the customizable reports, which is extends this capability so much further. So it allows you to be able to do any reports based on any of the data available within the system. So anything from the report catalogs, and you can massage it how you want it to look. Whereas the report catalogs are a very static form. They are set up that way, and that is the way they are. Whereas the customizable reports allows you to do it on a user level. So you can look at a particular user, you can look at a particular team, or you could go as far as looking at business unit or even the whole of business. And then you have your ACD wallboard. Your ACD wallboard is very, very pointed towards your contact centers. So it's structured around reporting on what a contact center needs to know. So, you know, how many calls have come in, where those calls have come in, how many have been handled, so how many have been answered, how many have been missed, the longest idle time for a particular agent, also how long the longest caller has been in the call, so you can understand what the customer experience is like live on that wallboard. And then, of course, all executives like their report. So the executive, there's an executive summary that you can collate all of this information up to, and then executives can have a dashboard that they go to and can grab that information on a day-to-day basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, whatever they need.
Thank you, John. That comes to the how now. So how can the iCall Suite enhance your customer's experience whilst driving business efficiencies? So John, again, I'll throw that back to you to give us a little bit more of an insight.
Cool, Aaron. Most of our companies have updated their unified communication systems over the past few years. This has allowed for greater accessibility to data through their back-end databases that contain all of relevant communication data for calls. And this data can be used by analytic systems to tell a story of the customer experience like never before. The most changes happened in over a decade and a half ago with the invention of the iPhone. Seems weird, I know. And Apple's exemplary customer service. Consumers had a new high watermark for customer service. And when they speak to other companies, they want the same level of service to be applied to them. Due to this, Apple's customer service model is the benchmark for a lot of consumers, in a lot of cases, businesses. They both believe that if the consumers believe that if they are getting that level of service from one company, why can't they get it from others? So it is important for companies to understand their customer journey and make the shift to understanding the customer experience if they want to succeed. We will quickly run you through some information around customer experience and how iCall Suite can be used to enhance the customer experience while driving business efficiency.
So I think we all realise that customer experience analysis is important for companies of any size. We'll look at a couple of pretty large examples later in the pack, but anyone who's got calls coming into their business relating to sales or service. So basically everyone needs these things, needs this product or something similar to understand the analytics behind their business, and so they can make informed, accurate decisions. So what we'll do now is we'll go into a little bit around the customer experience analysis and a few use cases on how iCall Suite can assist with this. So you don't know what you don't know. So a bit of a saying there. So things that you are blind to, you may not know, and they will impact on your business or at least on your customer's experience. So this is why analytics are important for CX. So John, can you give us a little bit, I guess, around this?
So the great thing about looking at customer experience and delving into it with the iCall Suite is that what you can do is that being able to look at the data immediately gives you the ability to deliver yourself immediate insights into what's going on within the business. So, you know, if a call comes in, you're able to see what that caller's journey is like, how long they're taking to get answered, how long they're actually taking to get resolved. It gives you all that information and allows you to be able to make some decisions. So it optimizes your decision-making ability. So you're able to make a decision on the fly. You know, do I need more staff? Do I need more phones? Or do I need to be able to do some other things? I don't know what they could be. There could be many other things that are available. But it also helps to increase staff productivity. So if the staff believe that you're looking at what's going on live and you're making those changes as you see those insights, it will be for a much happier team because they're not getting as many phone calls that are, you know, irate customers coming in saying, hey, I've been on the call for 20 minutes. Why has it taken so long? You get a much better staff productivity from that. You also have the ability to increase sales opportunities. So, you know, if you've got more staff answering the phone, less missed calls, there's much more capability of potentially getting a potential sale out of whoever rings up, because, you know, if they call up and they get a missed call, they're potentially going to go to a competitor. And also keeping ahead of what's going on in your system and whether you're getting more and more business, you'll then stay ahead of the competition because you're keeping an eye and a finger on the pulse of what's going on within your business. And people will love that because they will start flocking to you. It'll also mean that you can improve that operational efficiency overall. So it means that, you know, staff are happier, sales are flowing through, customers are happier, and everything is just starting to flow and work really well for you as a company.
I've got a few more targeted stats on customer experience here and understanding why they're so critical to business success. There's a few mismatches here between what companies think they're doing and what their actual customers experience. So the vast majority of companies in this stat from Lee Resources outline that you know, companies say 80% think they're delivering an 80% superior service, where only 10% of that 8% of your customers feel the same. So, you know, there's a bit of a disconnect there that people need to understand, and the call analytics will help with that. Missed calls, as we mentioned before. So here's a pretty big stat. So when calls are left unanswered, more than half never leave a message or call back. So think about that as a customer you might be losing, or so revenue going out the door and customer retention. Or on the flip side, new business that you're just not gaining that you could do if you knew how many you were missing and how many you weren't actually getting back to. And customer retention, as I mentioned, 58% of enterprises see an increase in their retention when they use customer analytics. And this is down to them understanding how their business is responding and the journey that their customers are experiencing. So JK, I'll throw you this one as well about the customer experience and the analysis process.
Yes, so this is really good for you as partners to look out for your customers and get them to understand. It will be sort of a helpful tool to talk to them about what they really need to understand from an analysis process to be able to understand what's going on in their call system. There's a high-level view of how the CX analysis process works. Businesses shouldn't be in the habit of changing things on perception when you can use iCall Suite to get those metrics that matter. So next one. To start with, you need to understand what's going on within the business to understand how it is impacting staff, the business, and most importantly, customer experience. This means you need to monitor the performance of the phone system and see where your calls are moving, how your calls are moving through, and where they end up. Once you have the data, you can start delving down into that data to understand what it means and how it relates to your staff satisfaction, business outcomes, and most importantly, customer experience. The data will allow you to build that picture and identify the problems. Now that you have identified the problems, you can act on them quickly and follow the best practice, and then follow through with the best practice, and then also follow the cycle again. So continually following that cycle will make sure that you pick up on any potential trends or shortfalls that are going on within your business as quickly as possible before they become problems.
So JT, tell me what metrics you know about that will help improve the customer experience.
So answer this original term is important to understand how long a customer took to be answered, whether that was in a queue or a direct call to a staff member within the business, and how long, once that call was answered, it took for the agent to finish that call. This will lead into a caller tolerance point of view, as people don't love being on hold for long periods of time. I'm sure we've all been on the hold for multiple amounts of time before, and it's not enjoyable. So understanding the time to answer and resolution will help understand caller tolerance overall, which will help improve customer experience. And then determining the busiest times of the day and where calls are landing through call distribution. Next one. Through call distribution will assist with staffing for certain areas and will assist with ensuring that call answer and resolution times become closer together, which will assist with caller tolerance and have an overall impact on the customer experience. Understand how many missed calls have come in is extremely important, because these could be lost opportunities, which could ultimately affect the sales number. The better understood missed calls are and why they were missed will help with the customer experience. iCall Suite has the ability to show which calls were missed and also assist with returning those calls, which may lead to more sales generation due to the customer experience of the company calling the person back due to a missed call. And last but not least, ensuring the call journey that is required for customers, looking into the call journey that is required for customers is important. And iCall Suite allows you to get under the hood and understand the calls journey through your systems. And last but not least is the cradle to grave reporting, which will assist you with understanding all the aforementioned items and give clarity on what is going on within the system and the ability to report holistically.
So how do you ID an opportunity for iCall Suite and call analytics? Well, here's a few lenses you can look through. So the first one being customer service, focusing on staff metrics that matter to your business. So, analytics that look at the overall performance, wallboards, which might help your agents understand where they're at, what queue is in the queue, so they can adjust maybe how they operate. Also, how supervisors can see how things are going on. Next one, customer retention, and these relate to some of the stats we mentioned earlier. So customer retention. So customers, the reasons customers stay is understanding the analysis behind it and offering a call journey will help you retain your customers. And missed calls. So as we've touched on a few times, unreturned missed calls will lead to either dissatisfaction and customers leaving, or missed call opportunities around business. So how much business are you missing out on if you don't know about the missed calls or being able to return the call? You need to sort of understand, do you have the capability, or does your customer have the capability to dive into this, analyze, and make business decisions based on true data? A couple of examples here. So this one here is a use case. It's a case study that has been done. So a couple of things here. So the key issues: hundreds of branches running 2 large national contact centres, doing hundreds of thousands of vehicle inspections per annum. There was a significant number of call interactions that were occurring at the local centres and not at the national contact centre. The result, that the staff weren't trained correctly or properly in call handling, and a lot of customer inquiries were being missed, particularly during busy parts of the day, when they were assisting customers who are attending the centre. Calls left unanswered overflowed to the contact centre and bounced back to busy branches, resulting in that poor customer experience. The key results once they had put in iCall Suite were using the analytics to understand the performance, and so they could effectively monitor the calls. Hourly call traffic data provided value information on that busy time. So as you can imagine, for a motor vehicle business and doing inspections, a lot of cars would arrive in the morning. So typically that sort of 8 to 10 was when they were most busy, and that's when they were losing out on call business. So the visibility of unreturned calls was then provided through the deployment of iCall Suite, and so they were able to call back staff fairly quickly when they were able to. Staff were then incentivised based on the information the business had to return calls quickly, and this led to a monetisation of the analytics based on the data insights, and represented a massive uplift in revenue. So if you think about hundreds of thousands of inspections they were already doing, and then you work out that potentially they weren't returning all the calls, and 56% of people don't return calls or don't give you a business. That, in this case, was worth tens of millions of dollars to that business. So, as I said before, we've got another example here. So this is more of an example of a use case around IT support services. So the issues, being a service providers that much of you are, you understand there's quite a lot of competition out there, and you need to try and differentiate yourself, and customer experience is certainly one of those ways. There's been massive pressure over the last few years as we've oscillated between work from home, working in the office, hybrid, and as businesses try to tackle the new world and how they operate, then that obviously then generally flows onto their providers. The key benefit of iCall Suite in this situation is visibility of call waiting and understanding the call profile, so you can manage your staff levels to make sure that during the day you have the optimal staffing to answer your customers' calls and deliver that customer experience that we're looking for. That also then helps you understand the tolerance for how long they're willing to wait before abandoning, so you can sort of tailor your services to that. And then obviously, identifying missed calls and contacting people back will lead to potential upsell or retention, and is a vital point of any business is that customer experience and making sure they feel like they are receiving a good or even superior customer service. That brings us to an offer. So as a call to action to you all, what we've got here, and we'll all email the details out of that very, very soon, but we've got a free 1-month trial of the iCall Suite solution. So to qualify, for those partners that attend this webinar today, we're offering you that 1 month of the iCall Suite into one of your customers. We also offer pre-sale assistance with setting it up and also getting some basic reports in play. So if you think about some of those customized reports, we'd work with you or your customer just to make sure that we get that the right experience up front so that they can see the real value behind this. How you qualify? You must register in the PRC before the end of next month, being April, and we want that to deploy within 2 weeks, within 6 weeks from now, by the 13th of May this year. Now, note the offer is for one deployment per partner. But if you have more, please discuss with your partner growth manager and we'll work out what we can do for you. That actually then brings us to the end of our data and our presentation. We're pretty interested to see if there are any questions that we've got going. So I see there's a few in the chat at the moment, and there's a few Q&A. So Jasmine and Fred, have we got anything on those?
We've had a question. Oh, sorry, Fred, you going to say?
I was just going to say, we had a couple of technical questions. I've dropped a couple of answers in there. For those that weren't answered, we'll follow up on after the webinar. A question that we do have is, where did it go? There it is. Apologies for that. Is this the old tolling service? John, do you want to answer that one?
Yes. It's called iCall Suite in version 4 and is the latest iteration of the tolling product, but has included new reports and the supervisor, advisor and agent consoles also included in version 4.
The full name there is iCall Suite powered by Tollring. So yes, there's been a slight, I guess, branding change in that, but this is as a new and an upgraded version to what was previously released.
Cool. Another question we have is, can we do a proof of concepts for clients as part of a customer POC? Aaron, would you like to cover that one?
Well, I guess, and a lot of what we've just offered there as a free offer is essentially a 1 month free is effectively a proof of concept, which we can put to a live environment for people so they can check it and get that 1 month free. And then we're pretty comfortable and confident that people will then take that up and leave it in once they understand the value of insights behind it, so leading to an uptake for both your customer and their understanding of their environment, and you as a sticky solution that offers value to your customers.
We've just had another one pop up. What's the best way to position this to our customers who may think they don't really need it?
Well, I guess the best way, if you look back at some of those stats we talked about, and understanding, do you know how many calls that you're missing? Do you know how many that aren't being returned? Do you know what the journey is? Where do the calls go through your process, and understanding some of those things. And just pointing out, so if you were to miss 3 calls with sales calls, do that ROI for them, present it in a I guess, a business outcome to them. 3 calls missed, what typically do you have in a sales cycle? Start paying it off, and then I'm pretty sure they'll find that one missed call in a month will pay for the solution several times over.
Excellent. I don't have any others in the Q&A section there. So I think that's all from Q&A.
So I guess to end today, what I would say to you all again is just reiterate, get hold of your partner growth manager or reach out to myself if you've got any further questions. If you'd like to look at obviously taking up that offer around the proof of concept or free 1 month use of the iCall suite into a partner, go for it. It's a great opportunity to prove the value of it, to offer some extra value to one of your customers or to several customers, depending on how we work through this. So please reach out. Let us help you with any questions you have and presenting with your customers. So thank you very much.